and we have to have that time or else we can't, right? Whereas we can, as you said, every single moment's an opportunity.
Right. Yeah. Which is interesting because there was a point in my meditation practices when I was a bit younger with it where I think I did make progress, but I think I sort of pushed it a little too much, feeling like, especially with maybe guided meditations, for example, things that on a slightly different topic relate to sort of hyper focusing on different parts of your body.
Right.
And I think that is a good exercise.
Like self-healing practices you're telling me about.
Right. Like even if I wasn't calling it that at the time, I think there's like an application of that.
Right.
Sure. But I think, but there was, I had read, I think it was from that Qigong book that you had referred me to.
The Small Circulation by Dr. Yang Jingming.
Yeah, I think there was something that to the effect in his book that really resonated with me, how you more so want to, as we described, treat meditation as something that you can do, you should always kind of be doing. And that like really changed my whole like paradigm of meditation, where I thought it was like this, it was a process, and then I realized it's more like a way of life. And just becoming aware of that had made significant strides in my ability to meditate as well.
Well, I want to go back on what you said, something that I really liked earlier, which is about earlier in your practice you didn't label it as such, and I think sometimes meditation is even more powerful when you're able to do that, because language is something that we place on it, and that can even, any word or term that we place on a meditation can actually take someone further away from it, because we're placing a label on it. We're supposed to be discovering this space in between where we don't have to label, right? So I just love that thought. And that phenomenon that you're describing in the book, in Chinese meditations, that stage is called regulating without regulating, where you're practicing. It's not an exertion. You're not trying to practice all the time, but you've gotten to this point where you didn't need to think about how deep your breath was. You don't need to think about your body posture. You don't need to think about it. At first, you actually do need to try to think about this. But there's a stage in your meditation where eventually you're doing it, but you're doing it without doing it.
Yeah.
And that's how exactly, you just fall into this natural rhythm. That's the point of meditation. It's doing without doing. You're trying to undo these things of, I need to constantly apply them. No, you get to this point where you're regulating that meditation practice, but naturally by undoing. This is sort of like the concept that they call Wu-Wei too. It means non-doing, right? We do in accordance with the nature of the Tao. We do what is natural of us to do. If we're hungry, we begin to eat. If we're tired, we lay down. We don't, I should eat at this certain point. We don't need to plan our day like this. We can just live through our day.
Yeah. Absolutely.